I saw that clip from the Tim Pool show. And apparently Jeremy from the Quartering got raided too by SWAT, which is really interesting. This is not the first time that Tim Pool got raided, by the way. It's like apparently like Tim Pool at this point in time is like a vet at getting swatted. How's it going, everybody? Let me just start by saying I'm if I seem low energy, I apologize. I'm not feeling well. I'm not exactly sure how how long this stream's gonna be. I'm gonna try to make it the whole hour and a half. But if for any reason I start to run out of energy, I'll just go ahead and cut it short. But we're gonna go. We're gonna go. They're going to. It may not happen today or tomorrow, but they'll take it down. Yeah, because what I'm gonna talk about is not gonna please them. This whole Jan 6 thing is one of the larger productions from the left that I've seen in some time. And is that as far out as I can zoom? I'm not entirely sure that they're going to want their narrative to be diluted in any way. So this stream, either I swear it's either going to be one of the other. I will be surprised if it stays up completely and totally. It's either going to get taken down midstream, or they're going to come back and be like, "Hey, you can't talk about that. Like you're violating some sort of rule." Here's what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to speculate about who was in it or the motivations. I'm not going to go tinfoil hat on that regard. What I am going to point out is that this entire thing seems to be more of a distraction. If you couldn't guess by the thumbnail and the title, Dog and Pony, it seems to be more of a distraction than it does seem to be an actual issue that we're having to deal with in our time. And also, I mean, as you probably, if you have a decent memory or were paying attention in any way, shape, or form, you'll also know why it's so hypocritical that this is happening right now. Because January 6th is not the first time a riot happened near an important government building. And yet, despite the fact that you had rioters basically trying to get to the White House and attacking police officers there, you're not hearing one thing about it. It's very one-sided. It's very odd. And I don't think that any of us are surprised at this point that this is happening. But it's still pretty awful. I just can't figure out how the assassination of a justice is front page news. But that's the other thing, and I was saying this on OAN last night. You know, I was on with Kara McKinney for Tipping Point. And I was like, man, the things that they want to talk about and the things that they don't want to talk about are pretty glaring right now. They want to talk about a riot that happened a year and a half ago that was largely condemned by both sides. But what they don't want to talk about at all is an assassination attempt on a justice. They don't want to talk about any riots or issues that are popping up right now with violence from the left. And I don't know if you guys saw, but I mean, like after the Brett Kavanaugh thing, there's Ruth sent us a group, a pro-abortion group, like started posting pictures of Brett Kavanaugh, of like signs that are on Brett Kavanaugh's kids' school's lawn. Right? And they're allowed to stay. And by the way, that same group posted Kavanaugh's address. Which is, it's interesting that like all of this is happening, right? If a right-winger had done the exact same thing, you can guarantee that people would be making a massive deal about this on the left, talking about how violent the right is, how horrible and Nazi-ish conservatives are. It would be nonstop coverage. But they don't want to talk about that. But they especially don't want to talk about anything like inflation, rising gas prices, food shortages, open borders, crime spikes, all that. They don't want to talk about that. What they do want to talk about is something that happened a year and a half ago in order to further trash a man who wears a red hat and made mean tweets. Hopefully, with the finished product of it all being that he can never run for president again. To which, let's say that they stop Trump from ever running again. Now they have to deal with DeSantis. You boned either way, kids. You're not going to go anywhere with it, okay? No matter what you do, no matter where you turn, you lose. Because if you think that Biden is going to get elected again, and midterms are pretty much sealed for Republicans at this point in time, it's theirs. Don't get lazy, by the way. Get out and vote. But if you think that Democrats... By the way, I love the fact that like a whole bunch of every Twitter account that has come after me in the past few weeks, and then there have been a lot. Every single one of them have like a blue wave emoji, either in their bio or in their avatar name. Blue wave emoji, and I'm like, you guys are telling yourselves stories, man. There will be no blue wave. There's no blue wave coming, man. It's the Republicans. Midterms belong to the Republicans at this point. Given Republicans need to get their act together and make sure that they get out and vote. Okay, don't get lazy. Don't get cocky. Get out and vote. But let's if the midterms are here, or I mean done and then sealed for Republicans, then let's look forward a little bit. You're trying to stop a man from running for president again when the time comes, and they know for a fact that if they put a chihuahua in a sweater that has an R on it up against Biden, the chihuahua is gonna win. Nobody likes Biden. His approval rating it is in the dirt, and it continues to fall. Like it's pretty incredible to watch. It's incredible. Nothing is working. This, as you're going to see here, as I'm going to talk about, is just one more attempt. One more attempt. Here's what I want to do first, though. I want to watch this clip from Tucker. Because I really think that it's... I mean, Tucker has he's got the gift of gab. You know what I'm saying? He's good. He's good. What's up, John? How you doing, man? Beware the cherry limeade. Yeah, y'all, I had a cherry limeade the other day, and it straight up gave me a buzz. Like, I was drunk. I was like, whoa. I don't know why it did that. I've had plenty of cherry limeades in the past, and I've never had that happen to me before. And how the hell does Joy Behar get away with blatantly racist crap? Because she's on the right side, Pickled Squirrel. That's what it boils down to. She's on the right side. If anybody else had done anything akin to what Joy Behar does, or even says randomly, like, I guarantee you, there would be lynchings in the street for right-wingers. We do have a backup for 2024. Good point. I mean, no matter what they lose. At this point, they're picking their poison. Which is it, Trump or DeSantis? You get one or the other. The left has two choices, because they're not going to get Biden. And I mean, given some dark miracle occurs, I don't see anyone stepping up who has enough charisma and know-how and leadership quality to lead the Democrats. I don't see it. At least not that everyone wants to vote for. So I mean, the left has two options at this point. Who do they want? Do they want Trump or DeSantis? Because either way, they're not going to have a good time. It is going to be one of the darkest times for Democrats. Don't jinx it. Gizmo for president 2024 confirmed. Yeah, that was my little clue. She's running. She fights. Fox Nation LO watched Tucker this morning. What's up, Susie? How you doing? Happy Friday to you too, and happy Friday to everybody. The only reason I have Fox Nation, rest I don't care for. How can there be a blue wave when they already have control of the White House and Senate? I think they seriously believe just under, like, if there's one thing I truly do, I don't know if I admire it or if it's just I find it so fascinating that it needs to be studied, maybe, I don't know, but the amount of belief that the left has that everything is going to turn out great for them, and the people love them. The Democrats have all the best ideas. They're going to fix everything. They're going to bring forward the utopia, and it's all going to work out okay. They believe it with like every bone in their body, despite the fact that every poll released shows that they're in bad shape. Every like the straight turn on people who are in powers of position in the left, the people are turning on them and kicking them out. Y'all, they've got Marxists getting booted out of office in San Francisco right now. Like, if that's a canary in the coal mine, then I mean, if it's not, I don't know what is, right? They're losing the media war. The media it's never been more distrusted than it has been today. The amount of vitriol being spit at right-leaning figures from myself to Tucker Carlson has increased dramatically, and it is alienating people. These people truly believe in this sick, demented world where I am a Nazi and I am here to make women into baby factories and nothing more. Like, they truly believe this stuff, and it is so alienating. And because of all of this stuff that they are doing, including this January 6th thing, this dog and pony show, they truly believe that people are just going to start believing them and everything's going to be okay. They don't see what's happening. They have blinded themselves so ridiculously well. It's almost sad, really. Because it really shows you just how deep the divisiveness that has been caused by Democrats and the media really goes. These people live in a world that is not real. And you can kind of see this January 6th thing and how it's you can see how it all happens. These people truly are suckered in by these the sky is falling messages that the Democrats and the media put out. They think back to the coronavirus. People thought that they were going to die. They really thought that they were going to die. Like, it's sad. It's sad that we live here. Meanwhile, you know what? People are actually suffering. We've got record inflation, highest in 40 years. Okay? We've got a crime spike that it's weird that they're not talking about it. I mean, it is a bad crime spike. Did you guys know that Indianapolis right now, its crime is worse than Chicago's? Did y'all know that? I don't know if you did, because they're not talking about it. The open border, which I'm going to show you guys in a second, in 40 minutes, according to one video I watched, 600 people streamed across our border without being stopped or questioned. Price at the pump is sky high. It's over $6 in some places from what I've read. I think it's around $5 here in Texas, in Dallas. Inflation is, I read, it's just, and we've got a president who goes on Jimmy Kimmel and gives you a word salad. So it's so bad that Jimmy Kimmel had to stop him so that they could cut to commercial. Things are bad, but you know what? I kind of wonder if this is necessary so that people understand. So that people really get the full picture. I wonder. What's up, Farmer? How you doing, man? Gavin Newsom wants to run, I believe. That'll be hilarious. That will absolutely be hilarious. What is he going to do the moment he comes up against a Trump or a DeSantis on the stage? What's he going to do? The moment that, and you know what? If it's DeSantis, can you imagine Can you imagine? Because he's going to be like, let's look at your state and let's look at mine and see which one is better. It'll be over in a heartbeat. The just changed the Republican nominee versus Gretchen in Michigan for misdemeanors on Jan 6. They have weaponized the alphabet agencies now. This entire Jan 6 thing is actually being put on. Tucker's about to talk. I'm about to play this, and you guys should see it. This is one of the highest productions by the Democrat Party and the mainstream media in some time. Everything from the stage to the fact that have you guys ever... Jason Chavitz mentioned this, and I was like, wow, that's actually true. Have you guys ever seen a hearing where teleprompters were involved? Interesting, huh? Morning, everyone. A reminder, the sky is not falling, inflation is on a rocket. Exactly. I didn't know. I've straight tuned out. Yeah. That's not good. I'm 2.5 hours away from there. You probably didn't hear about it, but crime is spiking all over the place, and there's various reasons for it. They're going to say that it's guns. It's guns. The guns are doing it. It's not guns. The crime is spiking for various reasons. One, our economy is crap, and whenever our economy becomes crap, crime rises naturally. You have an open border, which has not only just increased the drug trade, but also gang wars. Okay, so you're going to have that contributing to the crime. Post-pandemic crime rose because people were desperate. So you've got people going in and doing things they wouldn't normally do out of desperation. You still have this attitude among the inner cities from the Black Lives Matter debacle, which kind of fed this information or this idea to people that crime is okay because it counts as reparations. And on top of that, you have Democrats going in and basically making it like okay to go in and steal a certain amount of stuff and walk out without having to pay for it. Like here in Dallas, they do the same thing. I think it's like you can steal $250 from a location, and to be honest with you, they won't really do much about it. That's just the way it is. So you have a lot of contributing factors, but you're gonna have a lot of people telling you that it's the gun. The gun's the fault. No, it's not. It's not. Biden went on camera and stated he wanted his opponents to get arrested. Yeah, I mean, who watches that and goes, yeah, that's the kind of America I want to live in? Now, given there are a lot of leftists who do. Animal AK. What will Newsom do? Lie, probably. I mean, what else does he have? You know, he's got to, if not, he's got to half-truth it to make it seem like he actually did a great job running his state during the pandemic. He clearly didn't. And the American people agree. It's why they fled by the thousands to go to places like Texas and Florida or Arizona. You know, like they fled and they didn't come back. I'm noticing less meats in the grocery store. Is it a shortage or is the panic buying creating shortage? Probably both, Farmer. I would imagine it's both. I think that people are in a mode right now, like, you know, remember the toilet paper thing? I kind of see that happening a little bit. They think they're not going to be able to get what they need in the near future. And the thing is like if unlike the toilet paper thing, if this continues, they're not necessarily wrong. There are shortages already happening of various food items. And like I think recently one restaurant had to cancel an entire meal that they had because of a red pepper shortage. You know, it's pretty nuts. Maybe when they're asleep. It's when the only time they stop lying. Who knows? Who knows what they're telling themselves in their dreams? They wanted to defund the police, Portland, Seattle, open borders, crime increasing to impose more controls over guns, increasing the debt to pay for illegals, etc., etc. Yeah. Oh, and greetings all from the great land. From the great land. Nope, the problem is diesel for the trucks, Farmer. The diesel shortage is people don't understand that literally the lifeblood of our country is diesel. And if diesel skyrockets to the point where people can't afford to put it in their trucks, our economy really hurts because of it. Sriracha shortage. That's it. Sriracha. Yeah, they can't make sriracha anymore. That's it. Thank you, Farmer. Watch for rationing of diesel by the end of the summer. I think they're already starting to do. Like, did you guys read that thing about the police station who had to now pick and choose which calls they go to because they already blew past their fuel budget? I was in CVS yesterday. The wall of tampons was 90% empty. We kind of need that stuff. Why can't you just like grab some toilet paper and never mind. I don't know where the line is. Let's watch Tucker.
Getting yet another lecture about January 6th tonight from our moral inferiors, no less.
I like that he calls them moral inferiors.
An outbreak of mob violence, a forgettably minor outbreak.
By the way, I wanna point something out. Yeah, Sriracha, there's a red pepper shortage. Red. I want to point something out that is on your screen. Let me see if I can't move it here so that you can kind of see it better. Look at this. This is the stage, and I say the word stage very pointedly. Up here is a projection that says January 6th at the top. I mean, like, they've got it. Attack on the United States Capitol written beneath it. They make this a production. This is a production. Design went into this. It's pretty crazy to me that they got the flags behind them. It's a well-lit room, lots of press. Like, this is a setup, a stage for a show. It's incredible to me that they actually put thought and effort into it.
Recent standards that took place more than a year and a half ago, but they've never stopped talking about it. In the meantime, in the 18 months since January 6th, gas prices have doubled. Drug ODs have reached their highest point ever. The U.S. economy is now careening toward a devastating recession at best. And scariest and least noted of all, this country has never in its history been closer to a nuclear war. Yet the other networks cannot be bothered to cover any of that tonight. Instead, they've interrupted their regularly scheduled programming to bring you yet another extended primetime harangue from Nancy Pelosi and Liz Cheney about Donald Trump and QAnon. The whole thing is insulting. In fact, it's deranged, and we're not playing along. This is the only hour on an American news channel that will not be carrying their propaganda live. They are lying, and we are not going to help them do it.
This is I'm first off, good for Tucker. Good for Tucker. But I don't know. The pomp and circumstance that they're putting on it is very noticeable. And by the way, any Republican who went along with this to the point where they were trying to help Democrats, you're not a Republican. Get out. I hope you're voted out. I really do. Liz Cheney, I hope you're voted out. I hope a Cheney never runs for office. It's disgusting. Disgusting.
What we will do instead is to try to tell you the truth. We've attempted to do that since the day this happened. We hated seeing vandalism at the U.S. Capitol a year and a half ago, and we said so at the time. But we did not think it was an insurrection because it was not an insurrection. It was not even close to an insurrection.
Agreed.
Not a single person in the crowd that day was found to be carrying a firearm, some insurrection. In fact, the only person who wound up shot to death was a protester. She was a 36-year-old military veteran called Ashley Babbitt. Babbitt was just over 5 feet tall. She was unarmed. She posed.
It is amazing to me that we still have people, because Tucker's right, we still have people throwing that word around haphazardly. Oh, it was an insurrection. It wasn't an insurrection. It did not fit the definition of insurrection. Like Tucker said, no one was carrying a firearm. People weren't going in there in order to take over the Capitol. They were going in there to basically just cause havoc and do it for the gram. They wanted their picture taken in Nancy Pelosi's office. They wanted to maybe steal some memorabilia. They wanted to march through there, right? And I'm not saying it's right. I agree with Tucker. It wasn't right. They shouldn't have done that. I'm with him on that. It was a dumb thing to do. But if it was an insurrection, and I've said this in YouTube videos that I've made before this, if it was an insurrection, It would have been way more organized. There would have been a lot more death on both sides. Okay. There would have been a leader. Okay. There would have been a clear and I want to say, people would have known what the goal was. The goal being insurrection. They would have known. They would have stated it. They would have had their own PR people out there, their own propaganda people out there stating what the intent was when they charged into the Capitol. They didn't. It was just a bunch of people doing what they shouldn't do because they were mad, okay? Or they were never mind. I'm not going to get tinfoil about it. But I mean, there were many people who were in there just because they wanted to do it for the gram. They wanted to cause havoc. That's why they did it. It's not an insurrection. They want to sell it to you as an insurrection. Because it makes it scarier. It makes it seem like, oh, the Republicans are evil. Look at what they're trying to do. This Trump guy is evil. Look what he was trying to do. Look at oh my God, we're the only adults in the room who really care about America. Vote for us. That's really what this is. It's really what this is. The issue is, as per the usual, despite the fact that they have made a huge deal out of it and networks couldn't stop reporting about it, just like Russiagate, okay? They got nothing. This is from Banshee. Wrote this article. It's really good. I was lucky enough to have other things to do last night, which prohibited me from watching the latest installment of the Democrat obsession with January 6th. And isn't it always an obsession? They always zero in on something that is so minor. Like in abusive relationships, like there's a whole host of other things happening, but the one partner, just in order to try to beat down the other partner, will focus in on one little issue in order to help themselves win an argument, or try to set the narrative in the relationship. This is exactly what's happening right now. The Democrats, we are in an abusive relationship with the Democrats, and they want to focus in on one thing that makes them look good while dismissing everything else, including all the abusive crap that they do. Cheney is done in politics. Good. She'll get a sweet gig on MSNBC. Animal, I actually think that you are 100% correct, and I'm actually waiting for her to get that offer. And they'll put her on as, like, the resident Republican. To try to give her words some sort of weight. And it just, like, she'll be one more reason not to watch MSNBC. An insurrection would have meant that they were going to overthrow the government. There was no plan. It was just a dumb thing to do. Exactly, Farmer. There was no plan. There was no plan. It was just, who had more of a plan? Antifa, when they tried to attack the Capitol. I mean, the White House. Underpants gnomes to its core. The question mark is, people do not start a revolution without guns. Oh, well, this is a march with some people that committed misdemeanors. A small percentage of the people that were there did stupid things. Exactly. But you know what? When I knew for a fact that it was not? And I wonder if I can find the video. Let me see if I can't find the video. The moment that I knew, Capitol Guard asks rioters to leave. Let's say that. Let me see if I can't find it. It was this one scene where some dudes were, I think maybe it was the Senate chamber. Let me see. Capitol Guard asked rioters to leave Senate. Maybe it was the Senate.
It's time to get back to.
Awesome. I'll just say it then if I can't find the video. But it was when they were sitting in this chamber, in the Senate chamber, and one guy was just on his phone sitting down below the dais, and then you had, I think, Buffalo guy. He was up on top and and doing his thing. And the guard is sitting there going, "Hey guys, you guys know this is like one of the most sacred places ever, right?" He's like, can you guys please leave? And I was like, okay, if it was an insurrection, do you think that that guy would have been able to ask them nicely to leave? Because the answer to that is no. If it was an insurrection, they probably would have shot that dude or, at the very least, chased him away. Instead, he was just sitting there asking them politely, hey, can you guys go? That's like, okay, this isn't an insurrection. This is ridiculous. This is stupid. Also, it would have lasted longer than 2 hours. The certification of the election would have happened the same day. Yeah. You guys know just as well as I do. You guys can see it right. It's all hype. It's all theater. And isn't that a common theme on this stream when it comes to talking about what the Democrats truly care about? It's theater. It's a show. I would love to see all the footage from that day. And plus, Pelosi refused the National Guard. Things that make you go, oh. And the door was open for them, too. If all people want... There's a lot of questions. There are still a lot of questions that we need answers to. They would have killed him. He would be dead. Many would be dead. And there would be widespread national conflict and war. Correct, Red. Correct. Things would have been different. Yep. Oh, yeah. It would not have looked like it did. There wouldn't have been some dude who looks like the skinnier version of... Who's that? I can't remember his name. But I'm sure everyone here has seen Frozen. Yoo-hoo, big summer blowout. That guy who runs the shop. He's like huge. The guy wearing the... I wonder if I can find him. Gen 6 podium guy. This guy. Yoo-hoo, big summer blowout. I don't know why this guy just cracks me up every time I see him. He had to be my favorite character in that entire tale. The January 6th committee held a primetime hearing garnering complete buy-in for the stunt from all the networks and cable stations except Fox News. And it didn't take long for the clips to start coming out. What transpired was a political show trial that would make Stalin blush. Of course, one can have their opinion on January 6th. By the way, everything I'm reading right now is going to be on redstate.com. Go there right now. You can follow along with me. Also, be sure to sign up for our VIP program. You can use promo code Morse, M-O-R-S-E, on sign up. Really, really, really helps us out because they like to attack us and try to reduce our ad revenue quite a bit. And in order for us to stay afloat, we rely on you guys. So thank you guys so much for those of you who have signed up. If you haven't signed up yet, by all means, please do. It really does help us out. Also, like this stream if you haven't already. Like the stream. Of course, one can have their own opinion about January 6th, and that opinion can include it being a terrible event that should be roundly condemned. Agreed. What happened was profoundly stupid and harmful. It doesn't matter what a person believes about the 2020 election. Being an idiot isn't a political strategy, and running one's head into the wood chipper accomplishes nothing, even if it wasn't a coup. And it wasn't a coup. But it has little to do with the sham committee. It is now June 2022, and the condemnations have been done to death. Republicans, especially those who had absolutely nothing to do with January 6th, are not bound by an oath to keep hyperventilating over it for all of eternity, and they shouldn't. They shouldn't, because we have so much more to worry about right now. And more to the point, the most obvious takeaways from last night's hearings was that this committee has actually nothing to offer. Take Liz Cheney's opening statement, for example. It was widely lauded as an exercise in truth-telling, but what did she actually say? There's not much. She said, on this point, there is no room for debate. President Trump summoned the mob, assembled the mob, and lit the flame for this attack. Didn't he condemn it and actually tell people midway to stop? Because I remember that happening. But I don't see any proof that says that he actually fanned the flames. I don't. What's up, Dennis? Show trial is too weak a term for this farce. Agreed. Speeches about how terrible and no good the Orange Men are not new. They offer nothing to the conversation. They do nothing to advance the Democrat narrative regarding January 6th. Note the vast generalities used by Cheney. Trump summoned and assembled the mob, like the Avengers. But what exactly does that indicate? Yes, there was a peaceful protest over a mile away, and to be fair, the Wyoming representative, the former president did tell them to go to the Capitol, but did he tell them to go inside? Did he tell them to fight the police? Did he tell them to commit insurrection via some kind of unarmed coup? Cheney never quite gets there, and she doesn't get there because the answer to all the questions is no. Thus, she's left with the vague charge that he lit the flame. Whether that's actually true or not is an open question, given he pointedly told people to remain peaceful, yet that is not even relevant. I want to make something... There is, and this gets completely overshadowed. Completely overshadowed. And Banshee just mentioned it. They are focusing what happened that day at the Capitol. Okay, fine. But have you noticed that no one, not the Democrats, not Democrat lights like Cheney, not the mainstream media, no one, they do not mention the overwhelming crowd that was hanging out and peacefully doing nothing wrong. Just getting together in D.C. and having a rally, supporting each other, supporting Trump, supporting Republican Party, supporting our constitutional republic. And if you look at the pictures and the videos, that entire get-together, that protest, that peaceful one that was happening less than a mile away, was massive. Massive. Then we'll talk about that. Why do you think they don't want to talk about that? Let's say that this is that protest. That peaceful protest. Okay? This is what the vast majority of those Republicans and conservatives, libertarians, all these people who got together to peacefully protest, this is how big they were. The January 6 people who infiltrated the Capitol are about maybe that big comparatively. They don't talk about it. They want to make it seem like the entirety of the right is dangerous and willing to storm the Capitol. If that was an insurrection, if it was a coup, how come every other person in that big group, that big protest, that big rally, how come they didn't storm the Capitol too? You're going to sit here and tell me that only is a smidge, like this, like there were only like a few wired people in there who had a hologram that could pop up and Trump goes, "Execute Order 66." Like is that what they're telling me? This is stupid. Execute Order 66. Why? Because even if we connect several dots and assume that Trump saying the election was stolen motivated those people to enter the Capitol, that's still not in any way a direct call to violence. Are we going to criminalize political speech now? Is the legality of such speech now dictated by what other parties choose to do with it? These are good questions. The crime of incitement has real statutory standards, and none of what Trump said comes close to meeting them. Fact. They have nothing. Cheney said our investigation is still ongoing, so what we make public here will not be the complete set of information we will ultimately disclose. Meaning, guys, we've got nothing right now, but you just wait. It's Russia all over. It's Russiagate all over again. We don't have anything right now, but you wait. Bombshell reports are on the way. Cool. When? I don't know. The committee playing the clip that Barr saying that he's saying for a year and a half is a good indication on its own. That's why they led with it. We already know that Barr doesn't believe there was sufficient evidence of fraud to have overturned the election. But I digress. Back to Cheney. Notice the softening of expectations. The investigation is still ongoing, she says, which is just another way of saying that they don't have a smoking gun, but want to drag this out perpetually, or at least through the November election. True story. True story. True story. This is from Bob Hogue. Heavily hyped primetime Jan 6 committee hearing lands with a thud. Of course it does. It's the same thing over and over and over again that we have been experiencing since Trump's presidency began. The left has this big thing happen. Oh, man, we've got smoking guns, all right? We've got hands in cookie jars. They're red-handed, too. Oh, my God. We have video proof of Trump going, execute Order 66. I can't stop. I don't know why I love it so much. The public hearing of the selected committee investigating the January 6th Capitol protests concluded Thursday night, and it utterly failed to live up to the hype. The primetime hearing broadcast live on every major network except the Fox News channel, which instead ran the hearing on Fox Business, had been promised to blow the roof off the House. All current reports indicate that the roof is still there. Remember, in the Brett Kavanaugh confirmation hearings when Kamala Harris glared at Kavanaugh, asked a question, and then threateningly said, "Be sure you answer, sir. Be sure about your answer, sir." Whoa. I thought to myself, she's got something big on him. What did she have? Absolutely nothing. This hearing felt like an hour-long version of that moment. Very well put. It's not just Russiagate. It's also Kavanaugh. Remember, they were going to take Kavanaugh down, man. They had evidence, proof that Brett Kavanaugh, as a high school student and maybe early college student, was the ringleader of a sex trafficking underground business that was so good that nobody ever heard about it, including the best friends of women who were supposedly trafficked. Why are we taking these people seriously anymore? Why? After much fanfare, the hearing added little in the way of new information and failed to prove that Donald Trump caused violence. We will be revealing new details showing that the mob on Jan 6 was the result of coordinated multi-step effort to overturn the results of the 2020 election and stop the transfer of power from Donald Trump to Joe Biden. The committee said in a statement, Trump was at the center of that effort. Okay. Evidence, please. Evidence. Show your work. There was no such revealing details of any import that I could see, and their attempt to show that Trump was at the center of some coordinated multi-step effort was weak at best. Trump is not above criticism, and many don't like the actions and his words after the 2020 election, but no one yet has found definitive evidence that Trump said anything even close to storm the Capitol, folks. Execute Order 66. What the committee did prove is that A, it was a violent event, and B, security was utterly lacking, and C, that the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers were there. All very interesting, and all stuff we already knew from the second Donald Trump impeachment trial. The hearing started with lengthy, frankly boring speeches by committee chairman Benny Thompson and Wyoming Representative Liz Cheney that were full of highfalutin rhetoric and big promises of stunning information to come. I kept thinking, if that's true, can you please get to it? Because you two are putting me to sleep. Somehow Thompson managed to bring up slavery, the Ku Klux Klan, and lynching. Because you gotta pair it with racism in some way, you know? Like, it's... If you can't pair it with racism, what kind of Democrat are you, you know? It's just... it's two-tiered justice. Boy, am I tired of it. Yeah, it was cool like if Afghanistan was an orderly withdrawal. Yeah. Also, are they sure it was an insurrection? Because I seem to recall Chucky Schwab saying that it was an erection. Screw Barr. He is not. He is only out for himself. Execute Order 66. I like the parody story that they got Miley Cyrus to do the halftime show. What's funny, dude? This is how ridiculous things have gotten. I would not be surprised if midway through they actually did have someone come up and it's like, and now to commemorate this tragedy, we will have Billie Eilish sing a song. I would not have at all been surprised if that happened. Haven't seen that, Mr. Noob. Where can I find it? We are not taking anything the left says seriously. Nor should we. I think it might have been the B. Give me a minute and try to find it. Yeah, I saw it floating around, but I didn't see who wrote it. But I'm going to guess it's the B. The funny part, you know what makes the B so successful? It's the fact that they take absurdity and somehow marry it to the truth. And I guarantee you, somewhere in the planning of this entire committee, somewhere, someone actually had the thought pop up in their head. What if we get like a celebrity to come in here and like, you know, kind of do like sing a song, maybe read a poem? I will put all the money that I have on that. Commemorate a tragedy with another tragedy sounds about right. Oh my God. The hearing started with link. Oh, I read that. Vice Chair, tonight I say this to our Republican colleagues, said Cheney, who are defending the indefensible. There will come a day when Donald Trump is gone, but your dishonor will remain. Oh my God. Just a reminder to everybody, we still have record inflation, rising crime, open border, high gas prices, food shortages. Reaction to January 6th presentation indicate committee failed miserably. So we've been covering so far how one of the bigger issues here is that they keep saying that they have all this bombshell information. But hang on, investigations are ongoing. It's not here, but it's coming. George R.R. Martin, you know, he's been teasing Winds of Winter for a long time. It's coming, guys. It'll never get here. They're George R.R. Martining us. Democrats are George R.R. Martining us. They're Winds of Wintering us. You got people who are tuning in all over the place, including, I thought that this was really interesting. Then there was Frank Lutz, who had a group of students with him watching the production. Lutz said they tuned out quickly. It took 9 minutes for the hearing to show something other than a politician delivering a teleprompter speech. That's too long. I have 10 students watching with me, and they aren't watching anymore. They're more interested in talking to each other than watching the screen. It's too long, said one of my students. After 15 minutes, it's just one politician speaking into the camera. Literally, no one is watching. The TV is on, but no one is watching. This hearing may be fascinating for reporters, but I will be shocked if it changes minds. After the first 35 minutes, just one of my 11 students is paying attention. It's because there is nothing real. There's nothing there to give. There's no meat. There's no meat for anyone to chew on. None. If they had something that really tied Trump to January 6th, or even certain Republicans, let's throw Ted Cruz out there. You know, AOC likes to say that Ted Cruz tried to get her killed. AOC likes to pretend like she was right in the middle of it all, and she wasn't. She wasn't even in the building. If you have anything at all, bring it forward. And here's my other problem that I have with all of this. They're holding a hearing about how Trump is guilty of January 6th, right? And he caused it. Yet they're clearly doing so before the investigation was concluded. Meaning that in our country where you are innocent until proven guilty, they're declaring Trump's guilt before they have any evidence that says so. In fact, we have contrary evidence. If there is an indicator that this is a dog and pony show, it's that simple fact right there. They do not have information. This investigation is still ongoing, guys. We don't have any information that actually ties Trump to it, but it's coming. The winds of winter is coming. They got nothing, but they still want to hold this trial. trial, hearing, okay? This is all dog and pony. This is all theater. All of it. It's all theater. Tulsi Gabbard really nailed it.
Tulsi Gabbard is a former member
I want to
of
talk
Congress
about
from
that.
Hawaii, ran for president last cycle. She joins us tonight with her assessment. Congressman, thanks so much for coming on. So given everything the country faces right now, both domestically and abroad, why are the news networks colluding with a political party to tell us this is the most important thing?
Because whether you're talking about the
Susie, real fast, I understand that. I understand that. This hearings, publicized hearings are all show. They're all dog and pony show. I get that. But this one in particular is especially insidious considering the fact, as Tulsi Gabbard is about to tell us, that they are trying to find something to rally a base around, right? In order to distract from the actual problems that are happening right now. And they are so deprived of anything that could actually rally their base, despite repeated attempts from the abortion argument to the shootings, the mass shooting in Uvalde, to this. They are so desperate for something that they're still talking about something that happened a year and a half later. You know, they want to bring all the media toward this. They want to bring all the nation's attention toward this, instead of actually addressing real problems or finding solutions for real problems. What's up, Becca?
the mainstream media, or you're talking about Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger, or Congress, frankly, they don't care about the real threats that we face domestically to our freedoms and our democracy. So instead, they're focusing on this. They don't want to deal with the real issues that Americans are struggling with every day across the country: increasing inflation, rising gas prices, increasing crime, open borders. The list goes on and on about the very real domestic issues that we face. And frankly, they've abdicated on their most important responsibility in Congress, the one that Constitution says only Congress has, which is the power to declare war or not. So, you know, you've talked about this, Tucker. We just saw how Congress rushed through this additional funding bill of $40 billion towards this war in Ukraine. We are not only in a Cold War with Russia, we are in a hot war with Russia, with Ukraine as the proxy. And there was no serious debate whatsoever about really what the consequences of this bill would be, and frankly, whether or not we should even be in a war with Russia or frankly any other country. So this goes back to what are their priorities? Every member of Congress takes an oath of office. And
that's the key right there. What she just said, that's the key. What's their priority? It's not you. It's not you. Also, Susie brings up a very, very good point. All of these hearings are just political shows. They're not really there to get to the bottom of things per se. At least a lot of them aren't, especially ones like this. They're there so that politicians can score political points. They want to be seen banging their fist and get the Twitter, clip of them asking the hard questions. And don't get me wrong, they're very useful and many times. You know, I love seeing hearings because honestly, it tells you a lot. It tells you a lot about the people sitting in those chairs, not necessarily the people being questioned, the people sitting in the chairs. These publicized hearings, this is what it's typically about, though. Scoring political points. Doing it for the gram. It's a very good point. Susie is right. But it kind of ties in with what Tulsi Gabbard just said. Where are their priorities? They're more interested in being seen doing this than actually serving the American people whom they vowed to serve. This is about power. This is about narrative. This isn't about you. This isn't about keeping democracy safe. By the way, we're not a democracy. We're a constitutional republic. This isn't about an attack on the Capitol. This is about votes. This is about rallying a base. Trying to convince people that Republicans are dangerous, that Trump is dangerous. This is what this is. Dog and pony. That's really all it is. Call me crazy, but I'm done with form over function. Yep, agreed. Are we a third world country now with the show trials? Yes. Next question. Tucker kind of said something very similar. Or he actually says something very similar in this interview with Tulsi Gabbard. He says, we used to turn on... Actually, you know what? I'll just let him say it.
Swears to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. Well, the Constitution provides all of us with very specific rights and freedoms enshrined in that Constitution. Right now, we've got the Biden administration, we've got the Department of Justice, the mainstream media, big tech, all colluding to undermine our rights and civil liberties and freedoms.
By the way, the moment I see Adam Schiff on any panel, I just automatically
I don't see Congress taking action to address and deal with that threat. So if they really wanted to uphold their oath that they swore, that's exactly what they should be focused on right now.
I think the most disturbing moment a year and a half later looking back is the moment where Lindsey Graham turned to the Capitol Police and said, you have guns, use them. Now, they had just shot an unarmed military veteran to death who stood about 5 feet tall. And I guess what bothers me the most is that nobody cared. I mean, police take life, often it's justified. We've defended it on this show. But to not investigate it or explain it suggests that the life that was taken was worth nothing. And that is the message that they're sending. This woman's life didn't mean anything. It wasn't, we just killed her and threw her away. I mean, how can members of Congress sit there and allow that?
Members of Congress are not, again, they don't have their priorities straight. So much of this has been politicized, it's been sensationalized with very specific objectives that have nothing to do with upholding the Constitution or what's in the best interest of the country and the American people. And I think the way that this hearing has been actually not even so-called produced, it's literally being produced by somebody, I think, who is from ABC News in order to try to come with with an objective that has nothing to do, again, with what's best for the people, what's best for the Constitution. They're trying to achieve their own political interests.
Fascinating.
And it's just really sad that they're abusing their power in order to do that.
This is the kind of propaganda show that we used to make fun of when it took place in totalitarian. When you were a kid, you remember that? I mean, we had this vibrant, lively news media, and people debated things, and we'd look over at these totalitarian hellholes and say, they turn on their TVs and they get this pre-produced lying. How shocking is this?
That Tucker nailed it right there. Tucker nailed it. Our mainstream media is so useless right now. It is so useless, in fact, that they are literally helping to produce this trial, this hearing. They're literally contributing to the narrative for Democrats. And Tucker's right. There once was a time when, the media would have people on debating fairly and we would actually... Now it's sensationalism all over the place. If it bleeds, it leads. Okay? If it gets the most... It's... You know what this is? I can remember back in the day when the Rockets, the Houston Rockets, were going to win the NBA championship. And they were in, I can't remember if it was game 2 or 3, back in the 90s. And they cut to O.J. Simpson in that stupid Bronco. And they had that up on the screen while they minimized the NBA game. Right? I was pissed off because I was like, there was something much more fascinating happening with the Houston Rockets game than that freaking Bronco being chased by being driven by a celebrity, being chased by police. But they focused on that Bronco. This is that all over again. This is the mainstream media focusing on the Bronco when the NBA game championship is happening. If it's sensationalist, Anchorman 2 actually, for those of you who've never watched Anchorman 2 made fun of this. There was actually something interesting happening on a different 24-hour news network, and so Will Ferrell's character from Anchorman 2, he's like just there was a chase happening. It was mimicking the Bronco chase. And he was trying to make that seem like it was the biggest deal to happen in a long time, just so he could pull ratings from something that was actually happening, that was actually important. And it's the same thing happening right now. This is an attempt by the media to follow the Bronco. They're following the Bronco. .21 at MEPS in Des Moines. God bless you guys for serving. Tulsi brings the good. I like Tulsi Gabbard. I don't agree with her on everything, but man, do I like a Democrat who's willing to sit down and acknowledge reality and talk logic and facts. She doesn't have to agree with me on everything. That's fine. She can have her own takes about various issues in our country. But I appreciate a Democrat who is willing to sit down and talk and actually get real. I don't hate Democrats. I don't. I have a lot of Democrat friends, Democrat family. But just the ability to sit down and talk without having to go into sensationalist territory is so valuable that I feel like these people should be leaders, Who the hell is paying for this then if it is produced? Where's the money coming from? Us? Good question. AmTrue, a lot of this is being put on by the government. So technically, yes, we are paying for this. What did they say? Red, can you look this up for me? The amount of money that it cost for the Russia hearings, the entire government investigation for Trump's connections to Russia. Can you search for that for me real fast, man? If you don't mind. Hillary calls Tulsi a Russian spy. Yeah. That's desperation right there. Everyone's a Russian spy, though. Everyone's a Russian spy. I get told by Twitter users on the left from time to time, with the ones with the little blue wave emojis, and for some reason, a Ukraine flag in their emoji in their names. I get told I'm a Russian plant all the time. We're all Russian plants now. My mom missed out on the end of the mystery because of the OJS chase. Yeah, I was pissed off. Luckily, years later, we hunted down the show and watched the ending. Good. Mainstream media is dying. Streaming is taking over. The internet is making mainstream media outdated. One thing that I have been saying lately, man, the internet has been one of the biggest curses to humanity, but also one of its biggest saviors. Because if it wasn't for the internet and the free dissemination of information and YouTube, people like, Jeremy from the Quartering, Tim Cass, Nerdrotic, Joe Rogan, like all these people who go out there and really start conversations and really get down to the bottom of the, and point out the lies and stuff, we would be so screwed. We would be so screwed. Was it the butler? Working. This seems to be low, though. I'll keep looking. Let me check this just real fast. Let me just check this real fast. Because it was a lot. $32 million. Yeah. Yeah. I think that is actually the number. I think it's 32 million. And that was something that I remember, I think I even reported on it at one point in time. I don't know. I've written so many articles that I've forgotten most of them. If you really take a look at the Russiagate trials, not trials, hearings and stuff, altogether, it cost us north, I think, of $30 million, which means that you and I paid that amount of money so that Democrats could grandstand on a lie. Over north of $30 million. You know how you have leftists all the time talking about how, a billionaire does something and they're like, with the amount of money that they spent to do that, they could have fed every person in the world twice. That kind of stuff. How much money is being wasted by our own government of our taxpayer dollars for sham trials, sham hearings, narrative-generating events, purely meant to benefit one party, right? How much money is being wasted on these kinds of investigations? And what could they have done with that money? How come the left doesn't talk about that? With the $32 million that they spent on the Russiagate trial that produced nothing. What could they have done? What kind of infrastructure could we have improved? How many bellies could we have fed? How much could we have improved the adoption system in this country with $32 million? I guess we'll never know, but hey, you know what? We got some good narratives out of it, folks. And they knew it was a lie all along. I knew it and cost us. Yeah. By the way, that's our money. I want to remind everybody, that's our money. With all the outright BS they pulled, I have a hard time believing it took only $32 million. I don't necessarily disagree. I'm pretty sure it's a little bit above that. That does not count in all the DNC and the media spent. Yeah. Mueller's team included 19 lawyers supported by 40 FBI agents. The Dow is taking down almost 900 points. Welcome to the Biden administration. But at least we ain't got mean tweets. What are they trying to hide? Why the show? New inflation numbers come busting in like the Kool-Aid man, completely counter White House narrative. The White House narrative is that everything's great. We're doing okay. Do you guys feel great and okay? I don't. I'm paying a lot at the pump. I'm paying a lot more for stuff than I used to. There's a fly in here. It's driving me crazy. You may recall that April's inflation number saw a slight downturn from 8.5% to 8.3%. Core inflation still actually rose, but the top line number led the administration to claim that things had slowed. The White House put out a statement claiming that the report showed they were making progress. Unfortunately, they turned out to not be the case. May's inflation rate hit a new high of 8.6%, the largest increase yet under the Biden administration. Get ready for a lot more pain because it's obvious that the administration's plan to tame inflation isn't working. We've already seen the interest rate hikes occur and wage growth slow. Even still, inflation continues to remain completely out of control. If making money harder to get in conjunction with people making less of it isn't making a dent, what is going to? The answer is probably not one anyone wants to hear, namely that the hole has been dug so deep by the inept senile old man in the White House that there's no easy way out. Stagflation is real, and it's here. The economy saw negative growth last quarter coupled with these eye-watering inflation numbers. That kind of malaise doesn't just go away in a few months. It takes years to fix, as Japan's lost decades showed us. What makes the current situation so bad, though, is that Biden is in office another 2.5 years. We need to be doing the tough things starting now. Does anyone think he's going to do what it takes to actually bring inflation under control? Rather, you can expect him to keep pushing for big spending that will make things worse. Lastly, I just want to note how laughable it is for Democrats to believe that Americans are going to care about the January 6 hearings when they are getting crushed like this. Good luck to them with that strategy. It is a bold move, Cotton. Let's see if it works out for him. Biden gets ignored at summit, takes swipe at media, and falls to his lowest numbers yet. The other thing that they are trying to help in this case, they're hoping that the January 6 dog and pony show is going to help unite Americans under the Democrat Party. This thing was so terrible, so bad, and the Democrats are going to get to the bottom of it. Vote Democrat. It's not helping. Biden, in his approval rating, they're sinking like a stone. It's not helping. The Democrats cannot get traction, and there's a reason for this. And this is one of the bigger reasons that they are trying to do this sham thing. If you are a president in office and you have an economy that is flagging, you stand a very solid chance of getting voted out. The chances of you losing to your opponent are incredibly high. Now, given Joe Biden's not up for a couple more years for re-election. Right now it's midterms. Right? Now, let's hope that once, the Republicans do take over the Senate and the House, that things can start to get better. At least we can slow the bleeding. At least we can try to do that. But a failing economy is one of the biggest Achilles heels of any politician. I should say any politician with his party in power. So a failing economy is going to reflect badly on the Democrats, and so they can't fix it. They don't know how to fix it because they're Democrats. They just know how to spend. And they have this utopian vision of how to make things better when there is, it constantly fails, yet they don't learn their lesson because, again, it's not about you, it's about them. They are consistently failing, and they want to make the January 6th hearing kind of not to staunch the bleeding of any actual problem happening to us, our bleeding, to staunch their bleeding. That's what they're trying to do. They are trying to do damage control for themselves by distracting you. Dog and pony. Upside, fewer tourists. Yeah, I'm from Galveston. I would have been like, yay! Given tourism is the lifeblood of that island. The coming payday going to fill up 5.5 gallon gas cans, or 55 gallon gas cans. Done it before. Gas does last a while in storage. Thank God. Tourists are always so much fun, though. Man, tourists. This fly is gonna. I want to kill it so bad. I get so attracted to this screen, and I don't know why. Well, I have a neighbor who depends on the summer season with his dog sled tours. He's not too happy about it. Yeah, the bad thing is that, less tourism. Like, we'll take Galveston, for instance. Less tourism means less money for the island. Less money for the island means fewer jobs. Fewer jobs leads to more drinking. Because there's only so much you could do on the island. Work and drink. What about going to the beach? You think Galvestonians go to the beach? Come on. Question from the back. When should we expect Biden to appoint his favorite horse to a cabinet position? Asking for a dead Roman. Biden would never appoint a horse. He wasn't around. That's smarter than he is. Damn! That was good. What else are they trying to distract from? This.
Nicaragua. Nicaragua. Saludos. Nicaragua. Nicaragua.
And we have hundreds of migrants just running in the United States, where they're already on American soil here, and they're running in here. I apologize, guys. We have a lot of dust now kicking up, but hundreds. And there's
How crazy is it that you have all these people coming from south of the border, running in, declaring where they're from? Peru, Nicaragua, right? And it's so much that it's actually kicking up dust in the air.
There's even more over there. We've now seen, in the past couple hours alone, 600 to 700 migrants cross into the United States illegally just here in Yuma. And all the dust is kicking up because they're all running in here. And there's more. There's a lot more. There's much more. I could just keep this video
They're waving. Hey, hi.
Mejor calidad de vida. Gracias.
A lot of thumbs up, a lot of smiling.
This was just one moment. One moment. This is constantly happening. Constantly. We have an open border. It is wide freaking open. And here's the thing. I'm sure there are quite a few people who are coming here to seek a better life. I get it. Okay? When you live in a hellhole, you want to get out and you want to go to a better land. I get it. That's why a lot of people came here in the first place. Long, long ago. They were looking for something better. But a lot of the people who are coming across are also criminals, sex traffickers, child traffickers, drug traffickers, coyotes of every kind, gang members, cartel members. And on top of that, Middle Eastern terrorists. They have been caught on multiple occasions. You'd actually be surprised how many are caught trying to come across the border. There is, let's already face facts, all right? Every single one of these people who is doing this illegally is doing a crime, okay? Despite how good their intentions are, they are committing a crime, and they cannot do that here. That is punishable. They have to be ejected. No matter how noble their intentions. It's sad, but that's the way that it is. But outside of them, they also burden the system, by the way. They are very burdensome to a system. They make everything more expensive. Okay? But outside of them, you have a criminal element that is coming in that has no good intentions, is only going to... And you can see reports all the time of people who are killed, raped, stolen from by illegal immigrants who are not being ejected from this country, thanks to the Biden administration and its policies. This is another thing they want to distract you from. The January 6th Dog and Pony Show is meant to cover up this too. There is so much happening right now. You can't even get sriracha sauce because of the food shortage. There is so much happening right now that they should be talking about. And as Tulsi Gabbard said, their priorities are just not you. They're not you. It is power and it is narrative. It is re-election. It is the ability to accomplish an agenda that is, frankly, very counterproductive to this country. And they know it. It's hurting us. They know it. They see it. But they can't do anything about it because it's not about you. It's not about the health of this country. They hate this country. They openly say it. And by they, I mean, I'm sure that there are a lot of... Mazi Hirono doesn't seem to be a huge fan. Various members of Democrat, House members seem very much like they... AOC, for instance, very much seem like they don't like this country. The Squad, they don't seem to like this country much. So it's not about you, but when I say that, I mean like many of the Democrats who go on Twitter and start talking about how much you love this country. They'll find you. And they'll tell you how much America sucks, how evil it is, how it needs to be overthrown and a system implemented that's more equal for everybody. They'll tell you. So don't expect mercy from these people. You will receive none. They want this country to collapse. They do. And there are Democrats who are more interested in helping that along, or more likely themselves, than actually doing what's necessary to help the people. All I can say to this is, vote accordingly. It's imperative that you get out and vote this midterm season. Imperative. Because if you don't, these people get to continue doing this. Y'all, Biden, the Democrats, forget Biden. The Democrats have been in control of everything for only a short period of time, and look where we are. And God, I don't know what's going to happen 2 years from now by the time November rolls around. I don't know how bad things are going to be then. I'm scared to think of it. This is degradation on a level that I haven't seen in a long time. Vote accordingly. I foresee $6, $7 a gallon gas here in Nebraska by August, September. I don't think that you're wrong. He will appoint a man to admiral and call him her. This is insane. This is impeachable right there. Crazy. And they've got phones, hotel, airplane, buses, baby formula, even. Oh, money too. But they have more baby formula than some people in America have right now. How crazy is that? Or as Chucky Schwab would say, erected. Been watching this happen since the mid-'80s. Yeah. They slandered the Border Patrol that were on horses, using their reins while riding horses. Go figure. For using their reins. And then, on top of that, Amtru, you are correct. And then on top of that, vowed to punish them for doing their jobs. What's up, Cleo? The NWO in our face, as long as they have their money and power, we mean nothing to them. We've never meant really anything. And that I think that people need to understand this. So many people say, well, you know, we need to create more laws. You know, the government will fix things. The government will fix things. Y'all, you really want to fix things? You really, really want to fix things? Lessen government. Strip it of much of its power. Eliminate many of the laws on the books. Elect people who don't say, I'm going to go and change things in Washington. We're going to create laws that... No. No. Don't create any more laws. Start working to strike laws off the books. Clean the house. And then lower your power. Lower your pay. The president... The office of the presidency should be more like a clerical position. Bring the power back to the local governments, state and city, town. You really want to fix the problem? Lessen government. Because it's the people who will fix things. I have a really good example for you. After, I think it was Katrina. Katrina happened, and the government was taking forever to get water to flow to a stadium where many refugees were. Okay? Power and water were a big deal. The government was struggling to get stuff to the people at a refugee camp. Walmart had their stuff restored in 3 days. It took 3 days for Walmart to be like, done. FEMA is horrible at their job. I know, because I saw it. I was, I lived in Galveston, and I was there when Ike hit. I came back to the island. You know who was out there really, really working to restore our power and get everyone back online? It was private companies. The private companies, specifically Georgia Power, was there to help out. Georgia Power helped us out. The FEMA camps were a bust. You were more likely to get to help yourself, really, to get yourself back up and running. The government is slow, it's corrupt, and it's full of people who do not care about you. It's especially full of people who don't know you. Many of them reign from a swampy little corner in the United States, okay, who have never been to your town and never will go to your town. They think that going to your town is icky. They wouldn't dare. Even their own town. Who was it? Baltimore. I'm trying to remember his name right now. He recently passed. They were interviewing one of the people from Baltimore and said, have you seen... Oh, God, I can't believe I forgot his name. It's like, well, have you seen him lately? And he's like, he never comes here. I haven't seen him in years. Guys, they don't care about you. You care about you. You care about your family. Your town can care about you. But don't expect people who live far away from you to care about your plight. They don't care. That's just the way it is. They care more about their power, how they're doing. They are a business unto themselves. This is why this whole January 6th sham trial is happening right now. The sham hearing is happening. Do you think it really is going to benefit you in any sort of way? Do you think it's going to make gas prices cheaper? Do you think it's going to bring down the cost of food? Do you think it's going to help you find baby formula? Do you think it's going to shut down the open borders? Do you think it's going to stop the out-of-control spending? No, it's a sham. It's a show. It's all theater. You really want to help yourself? Lessen government and vote in people who appreciate smaller government. Vote in people who want to make the government smaller. We don't need more laws, more rules. What we need is for the people to be able to govern themselves, as was the intention from the very beginning. It's slow and corrupt on a good day. Yeah. Term limits and cut the pay and power. Yes, Dennis. Term limits. Let's go. And I want their benefits to be so Spartan, it's almost not worth it unless you truly are looking to serve. Like get rid of the Pelosi's of Washington. These people who come in there and they barnacle themselves onto the state, and then they use it to grow their own selves, their own power, and utilize it for corrupt reasons. Get rid of them. Make serving. Because these people forget that they're not in charge. And you know what, though? I don't blame them for forgetting it. It's the people who make things and grow the economy. Yep, agreed. Damn job. Good show, good day, crew. Thank you so much, John. Thank you. I handed out water in a FEMA camp. It was weird, and the government didn't want us there for some reason. Really weird. I as a guy who had to endure FEMA, I'm not. Never again, man. It's slow and corrupt. Yeah, right then. Slow and corrupt is the government having a decent day at this point. No joke. No joke. Circus for the left zombies. Yep. Orange man bad. Yeah. The amount, if y'all really want to see some weird stuff and like what these leftists truly believe, go into my mentions and just read some of the responses to some of my tweets. Take specific note of the ones with the little blue wave emojis. It's either a blue wave emoji, the Ukraine emoji, or both. They always have it in there. Go in there and look at these responses. These people are delusional. And I'm not saying that with any kind of hyperbole. I mean, they are actually delusional. We need more Geo. Washingtons and Nancy Pelosi's and Chuck Schumer's. Why did they not go after BLM with the burnings and the lootings in D.C., but come after the Trump people? So I think it's interesting that you bring that up. And I know I'm pretty much out of time, but I kind of wanted to talk about this real fast too. If you guys actually, Andy No has been today publishing these things, these videos, just to remind everyone just how hypocritical things are.
Protesters have gotten the upper hand a couple times. They've been able to rip away parts of the barricade and kind of pull them away and just toss them. And then
y'all remember this?
The police will go and bring another part of it and try to reinforce. And when they do that, the protesters confront them. They throw things at them, and the police try to hold their ground. It has been a very intense push and pull for, I'd say, at least for times. It seems like
Y'all remember that? Flashback, May 2020, the far-left rioters tore apart the barrier outside the White House piece by piece in an attempt to storm the building and burn it down. Many in the mob called for the president to be lynched. Do y'all remember that? Flashback, May 2020, mobs of far-left rioters tried to storm the White House. They were repelled by police who were assaulted and hit with projectiles. Democrats and leftists condemned law enforcement at the time for stopping the rioters. Y'all remember this? Why are we talking about that? We're talking about an insurrection that never happened. Because it wasn't an insurrection, it was just a bunch of people acting like idiots. This was an attack on the White House. How come they never talked about it? How come we're not talking about it right now? How come they want to talk about the Black Lives Matter riots, which burned down towns and cities? People died. And I'm not just talking about Ashley Babbitt. You know, I mean, people died during these riots. From innocent former retired police officers who were black and just trying to defend their friend's pawn shop to small children. And why aren't we talking about it? Why are we talking about Jan 6? We know why. because they have to talk about this in order to try to distract you and rally the base. They want to distract you from all the stuff that is happening to you right now so that you'll get angry at the wrong party, so that they don't have to endure any more anger from their own screw-ups from you. That's really what it boils down to. That's really what it boils down to. I don't do emojis, though. I don't know how. Good, because they're obnoxious at this point. I'm so done with these emojis. They're in a cult, and they project others being a cult. Yep. I think that's actually, John, I think that is... They're so obsessed with their own thinking and their own bubble that they believe that everyone else has their own bubble and that they believe just as they do, just opposite. And one party is wrong and one party is right. And not just wrong, but evil. I have Andy's book. I just actually got done reading it. It's very good. Very good. 150 officers, Secret Service injured. Yeah, we're not talking about it. Don't forget that they also held the National Guard in parking garages. No one wants to talk about it. I'm older enough to remember when a federal law enforcement officer was killed in L.A. No one wants to talk about it. That was the Jan 6 on steroids / meth. Yeah, no point. Or, no joke, dude. Am I doing that? Guys, thank y'all so much. That's going to be doing it for me today. Y'all have a really great weekend. As good as you can, all right? I know things suck. I know things are getting difficult. Prices are rising. Crime is on the rise. It looks dark. It looks dark, but smile anyway. It gets darkest before the dawn. And I really do think if there's one thing that I believe here, it's that the Democrats are teaching Americans a valuable lesson about who they are, about what they believe, and about the actions that they're going to take. And it's funny that they're doing this on the... like right after a president made an economy boom. And it's never been better. It had never been better. So this is a dark moment in our history. It is. Very dark moment. But I think it is a stepping stone to something much greater. Maybe this is just my unrelenting optimism. But I can kind of see it happening already. I can kind of see it happening. People are turning away from the left. They don't want anything to do with it anymore. And they are fed up with the kind of lifestyle that is being forced on them by the left. So smile. It can't rain all the time. Guys, go to redstate.com. Everything that I've talked about today is on redstate.com. And I've got articles coming out today, including one at the VIP section. Please sign up for the VIP program. It really helps us out. You can use promo code Morse, MRSE, on sign up. Give you a discount. Follow me at the Brandon Morse on Twitter. My DMs are open. If you want me to talk about something, throw it my way. I'd love to talk about it with you. In the meantime, guys, I will see y'all later. Have a happy weekend. See you on Monday. Peace.